A very formal good afternoon. Thank you to Business World for organizing this great event. And this event definitely is far better from any other event you go because you have the right energy with the right amount of strategy on top because it's BW 40 under 40 and these are the next Chief Risk Officer, Chief Security Officer, maybe CEOs. So it's always more energizing to be here. And Harshvardhanji, the way you put everything together, it's great that we get to meet all the industry stalwart at one go. So that's great. And I think as of now, session after lunch, that's not best thing to do, but maybe since I have already got it, I will say let's do a bit of discussion rather than I have anything great to say. So I think that discussion may help us both remain awake and do some discussion which might be good towards the future line of the security as well. And at least I put some talking points what we can use to do our discussion. I know I'm still going to a primitive stage, but what does security do? Because people still have basic doubts about it. So maybe I'll just spend a minute and how the landscape is ever evolving, where we are, and how the mutation is really being talked about, what will change and how things are changing. The most critical aspect is if you decide not to change with the environment, you may be left out. So that's the reason it's very important that what exactly we do. So when we're talking about security, I say before even you've done anything, first thing itself is psychological. If I feel secure as a country, as an individual, as an office, as a home, my daughter going outside, my son going to an unknown area, psychological security is first thing. So what we provide as security professional, first of all, is a big psychological security before even having done anything on ground. That's the environment we create. And this is not a challenge only of today. This has been a challenge forever, whether they were palaces and forts earlier or they are computers and viruses now. First, the psychological important thing comes up. Well, yes, we do the actual safety. Any individual not getting harmed is important. So what we are doing is we are really roaming around individual and their thoughts right now, which even as per the Maslow's law is one of the first needs you need to have. Yes, we secure assets, large offices, homes, cash, satellites, and everything else. Then the present day changes towards information. Something goes wrong, response. And one thing, and there's the reason I put this slide up, we also protect honor. Whether it's honor of a country, well, what is Zelensky doing right now? He's just protecting the honor. Whether it's protecting honor of women, security does a very important part. So maybe I've started with the psychological aspect, I'm ending with that, but everything in between is less. But that's what is a very important role with all of us. And this honor part, especially when it comes to India, we all know that how important this has been. And not only with the Rajputs we have from Rajasthan, but everywhere else, honor is very important. So that's again something which security serves. It's an ever-evolving landscape. And why I say that is, the security needs from here till that stage are not same. Maybe at this stage, if I'm getting food, I'm okay. If there is oversupply of food, I'm less worried. Maybe that was the first security need started off. And as we started moving up, and as maybe we became more of human, our need and greed kept on rising. And with that need and greed going up, we started capturing land. So then it became security of land, which was nothing else but villages, areas, and slowly the concept of nations started coming up. And then along with land, you had assets, gold, jewels, Kohinoor. So as we kept moving up, the security needs are regularly changing. They're not remaining where it was initially. Need, greed, psychological aspects are changing the psychological needs. And as we move up, we have already reached a stage when data has become very, very important. Everything is data. Whatever you're doing, your lives have moved into your phones. You want to watch a movie, it's Netflix, Amazon Prime. You want to order food, it's Swiggy, Zomato. You want to go for banking, it's your phone. You want to do anything else, it's your phone or your computing device. So your lives have moved there, then security has to move there, but naturally. At the same time, this is also, you have to see who's on the other side of fence. When we're doing security, yes, there is somebody who might do a mistake. And for that, minor controls and protective checks, as we call in our technical language, do exist. But moment you have a purposeful miscreant, a motivated terrorist, on the other side of the fence, what they can cause is also the need of protective measures you need to deploy. USA President and a common citizen doesn't need same security. Indian Prime Minister and maybe we as common men don't need same security. Similarly, the army headquarter building and your home may not. So the security is not only a matter of change as per time, it's also as per who you are, where you are, what you do, who are your affiliates. This affiliate word is very important. We'll go back to that in short time. So I'm sure a lot of you, when you are selecting office, sorry to say that way, but you generally are not picking up office next to US Embassy or a US consulate. The reason being because they are possible targets. You don't want to get involved in an attack which you are not part of an attack, but you get unnecessarily bundled into it. So I used to work with United Nations in Afghanistan. So obviously UN, we have white vehicles and nothing to do with what's going wrong. Whenever I'll see any army or any kind of convoy, I'll stop my complete convoy. I'll let them go at least 5 kilometers ahead. Because if I'm close to them, I don't know how Afghans can miss a target and hit my vehicle as well. So that's how your affiliates, whom you are with, is also part of the security. So it's important to know that what matter changes with time, with affiliates, what you're doing, and a lot of aspects of that nature. So let's see what's the present landscape and why maybe I want to talk about mutation of security needed. We're looking at some trends, we're looking at some scientific data. Let's look at crime trend to start with. Since we are in India, let's look at India to start with. We had in 2020 approximately 487 crime incidents per 1 lakh people. Every year it has been reducing. By the time 2022 came in, it became 422. From 487, see the disaster happening in terms of crime getting improved, it is great. Yes, the other side of story is we have too much of a cyber crime coming in, which is not even getting reported, handled well, and all those situations is separate. But the physical crime, which was linked to possibility of murder, possibility of burglaries, possibility of all this, is actually going down. And while I give you data of India, USA, again comparing a developing country and a developed country, is also looking at the same trend. The violent crimes are disastrously falling down. But there is something attached to it. Earlier, like I said, other side of the fence, if earlier I needed to steal your money, I need to come inside your house, pick up your wallet. And in that situation, I need to be more violent. Sometimes you detect me, we have a fist fight or whatever, and you're getting injured. Or as such, I'm doing something which is far more heinous. But now, I just need to crawl through the wires, come into your computing device, carry your data, carry your money, or just request one OTP if you can give me, or link you can click. So while the physical crime going down, the cyber crime is up. And this is a global trend. While we developing country, USA developed country, both places, the hardcore physical crime going down. So obviously you can imagine, one of the things we're doing is not let harmful things happen. If the DNA of harmful things is changing, you also have to change with what you provide as security. If you continue doing same what you're doing earlier, again, that's not something a great step to take. Another trend which is changing with that is the risk dynamism. What used to be risk today is changing at such fast pace that it can have a different number in a month. Country like India, you have elections, all of a sudden the risk factors change. Now you have monsoon season, the risk factors change because vector-borne diseases can come up. So this has been some of the trends, but now with technology, even the advent of protective security technology, things are changing at a very fast rate. So what is going to be remaining alive is while risk is changing, your mitigation has to change very quickly, very swiftly you need to adopt. You are not left with time to stop, think, and go. It is not going to be a situation that you can have luxury of being a car mechanic. The reason the car mechanic gets paid less and a heart surgeon gets more, because car mechanic can stop everything, open everything at his own leisurely pace, put it back together and run. Heart surgeon has to keep the body running, doesn't have that liberty. So I think very soon we need to mutate from car mechanics to heart surgeons, because the speed of data, the speed of decision making, and the technology advancements available to people on other side of fence are not going to let you work at ease or peace. So that's again, mutation is going to take place. Now here is a very important point, while we'll start with India and then we look at the global factor. I say gap between police and thief. I always talk about thief has to run ahead, police has to chase. If police crosses the thief, thief can go in another direction, police not even aware. So you can be as close as possible. But with cyber coming in, the cyber crime coming in, you don't know which IP addresses are there. You still have a problem of, in India, you can get a SIM card which is not in your name. You can open a bank account which is not in your name. You can have multiple passports. What is happening in this way is, while maximum crime is shifting on cyber, the number of crimes getting solved is almost negligible. If you'll go to any decent city cyber crime unit, you will find one IO, investigation officer, will be holding possibly 1,000+ complaints unsolved in his lap. And if I try to aggregate all the incidents which are reported, I'm not talking about taking place, because let's say some of you losing 5,000 on Paytm, you're not even reporting it. All the incidents getting reported in India per day are more than 1 lakh today. And the incidents getting resolved is less than 1. Now you know why you have more calls coming in to seek your data, seek your money, because the gap between thief and police has become so large that they're not able to catch them. And this will continue unless either police becomes too smart or all of us become too smart. So awareness, that's where it is. So mutation is not only needed with the professionals, but overall society, you need to be smarter. You need to know what's going on. And you can imagine, if these, and we busted a lot of these so-called call centers and crime scene centers where such calls take place and all. They also run it like a business. They also look at return on investment and look at the risk factor. If one crime getting solved out of 1 lakh, it's a very risk-free business. Why not? And that's the reason you're finding that taking place more and more every next day. Again, taking a point from here to awareness. Like I said, crime control is easily mentioned as a police responsibility, whereas that is not the truth. It's community responsibility. Because criminal is born out of the community, stays within the community, and it's the community who suffers as well. Yes, police has additional authority and responsibility, but we cannot just pass everything to them. If we do, we'll have a situation that we are living in presently. It's a reality, right? We all talk about so much crime around us, but nobody will say, yes, I want to take responsibility of reducing it, making people more aware so that they don't get caught in it. Or even if a crime has taken place in front of you, I'm ready to be the witness and stand with the police and court saying, I saw it, this is what has happened. So we are part of problem as well. It's not that the problem is hitting us, we are generating the problem as well. So that's where I will say awareness is a very, very key factor. And generally, Indian society has been very low on awareness. In fact, long time back when I was heading security for a large IT company, first time ever people were doing an evacuation out of a building when they joined in that IT company. So till their time of school, college, absolute no safety awareness was ever conducted. Yes, I'm talking about few decades back. Now situation has improved a little bit. People are aware, but still not up to the level that what is their responsibility in that situation. And I still recall once there was a professional from US, and he was showing two blasts at the screen. There was one in Spain and another in India. And he was asking the audience, what's the difference? So a lot of attempts were made, but people even went to technical aspect. It was TNT and this. He says, no, look carefully. Blast at Spain. Moment it happens, people are running out of it. Blast in India, moment it happened, people are running into it. That's how it is. Although I did answer him in that forum as well. I said, we Indians are ready to help even in that situation. So don't question our DNA. Our intelligence sometimes can be questioned. But they're not running inside to make videos. They're running inside to help. But still, awareness. It's not there. It means there should be people who know the subject better should run in, not that everybody should run in. So this awareness is a big factor, and we need a mutation at society level, not only among the professionals that we want to do. So what is changing? I think this is where I do want to contribute few points, and like I said, we already have stalwarts, we have Captain Tyagi, we have General Singh. I do want them to hear from them, because this is a topic which is, like I said, if security is a community responsibility, then I do want some contribution coming from there. Colonel Sam being around, he knows the India risk outlook well, which he'll share later. But what is the mitigation? We'll at least disturb him with those inputs as well. So, impact of technology. I think already we had a session of AI, so I don't want to repeat too much. But I will surely say the impact of technology will be the maximum. And don't see this as only a factor in which what you can do with technology. I see first factor as, like I said, other side of the fence, what those guys and girls can do with the technology. Far more smarter, don't have rules, they can do whatever they want to try. One of the most important factor which will impact security in one of the first questions. Now, crime has got no international borders. It can be conducted from anywhere. But police has got every border and every policy to follow. Somebody can sit in Nigeria, can sit in China, can sit in USA. Well, not only do crime, can even do warfare. There have been hush-hush discussions of one of the Indian cities lost electricity because Chinese hacker put that down. There have been hush-hush discussions world over that some of the even supersonic aircrafts used as fighter jets have been brought down with cyber attacks. No need to fight. So the impact of technology first is for worse, because those guys have it, we don't know how will they use it. Because the moment we know how they use it, then our protection comes up. So the use of technology is a big factor which is going to change things here, and I think big mutation needed, that we need to know what technology is and how to use it. And I'm glad the next generation coming up, 40 under 40, a lot of them know better than us. So we trust you to develop protocols which will ensure the society is safe. New age manpower. While we're still struggling to discuss, is guard trained enough? The expectation from a security man, whether client or anywhere else, has gone far beyond of it. You knowing basic guarding is something which is very less if you're going to serve me that. As of now, if I look at the Western world, the concept of security which is empowered, equal to a manager, can take decisions, and can obviously not do too much of an attack, but protect and prevent. Those empowerments have already started taking place, whereas in India we're still struggling with whether this particular man who's been put into the uniform has the required skills or not. So that's where the leap is going to be very large in case we need to catch up with it. If we don't, business will find a new solution. Look at the changes which has happened. If you look at India, the biggest business boom which is happening of late is linked to quick commerce, e-commerce, logistics supply chains. And that boost doesn't make offices which are 10 million square feet, 100 million square feet. They're small hubs all around. That means you cannot have those old-time deployment of 500 guards in one situation. Even due to COVID, all the large IT companies have found smaller cities. Because people were working from home, they were not ready to come back. They went to smaller cities because it's closer to your home now, and it saves rent because Bangalore rent and Bhubaneswar rent is not same. So, if we don't empower our manpower, the technology will easily replace it. And some of the responsibilities which our manager, I will not call it security guard, security manager, because there's a lot of decision making and everything else attached to it in future. If he's not able to do it, one of the business guys will do it, replacing it in totality. So that's a bad news, but that's reality. Affiliation and unity of effort. This is again a very big effort which is required right now and already started taking place. Gone is the time when you had silos of you are a guarding company, you are IT security company, you're a risk consulting company, I'm the client. Try doing this, it's a recipe of disaster. You need to act as one. Your affiliates are part of you. Sometimes, even if smarter than you, please respect them and do that work. You'll be surprised that already in Europe, the maximum decisions of security are not taken by the in-house company CSO anymore. It's all by trusted partners. So that's the level things have gone. So unity of effort, affiliates, all this is going to be far more important than it was. I know India has moved very swiftly on it, especially if I see the startup culture, but we still have those traditional setups which are not mutating. I think looking at what all we are looking at, change coming up and everything else, the need to mutate for them is also very strong. Last but not the least, you will not have a choice that mutate once and it's over. You need to keep mutating because technology will keep moving, risks are going to shift, the people on the other side of the fence will keep shifting their strategies, so we have no other choice but to keep mutating. That's all for today. Thank you so much. Over to any comments, questions which are there, we can discuss that.